there is the situation in Group F. Belgium top on 3 points. Croatia and Morocco, who drew earlier on in the day, point apiece. Canada yet to get off the mark. And they're the upcoming fixtures. Belgium face Morocco next and Croatia face Canada. And Shay, going on that performance, Canada might fancy their chances of getting something out of the Croatia game.
Yeah, I think the guys in commentary got a spot on. I think they were good to a point. Final third, I think, in front of the goal. They were just a bit blunt. Had the chances. Obviously, Davis missing the penalty. We'll maybe look at a couple of other penalty opportunities they could have had. But yeah, Canada will be very proud tonight, but have they missed the opportunity? We look at obviously the Saudi Arabians beating Argentina, they took their opportunity.
Yeah.
Japan earlier today, they beat Germany, they took their opportunity. All these Canadians look at this game after and think that was our chance to get off the mark, and had they got something from the game, they would have deserved it tonight.
Yeah, Canada were impressive, but I'm trying to find the correct word to describe that Belgian performance. Even though they've got the 3 points, it was underwhelming, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was very underwhelming. I think they lacked kind of intensity in their play. They didn't really get any rhythm going. De Bruyne looked a little bit off with his passing. We praised him before the game, while Kenny didn't. Hazard doesn't look match fit yet. I think they're missing Lukaku, but the good thing is he's going to miss one more game, and then he'll obviously back in for that crunch game against Croatia. So look, it's tough to see them going further than the round of 16.
It is, Kenny. We wondered which Belgian side we would see tonight, and would there be chinks of light?
Army.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what we saw.
That was
no
it.
legs, Peter.
Yeah.
No legs, not enough energy, no pace across the defensive line. Tillemans in centre midfield can't run. Hazard just hasn't got the juice in his legs either. Witsel looks a shadow of the player he was 4 years ago. Can't go deep in the tournament playing in that fashion. Need to get legs in the team. Onana will give them a bit of that in central midfield. Thought he made a difference when he came on. I'd have a look at Face at centre half, the young centre half playing at Leicester. He's quite athletic. And it's important, it's all well and good saying experienced players, high technical ability, but you need to be able to run up and down the pitch, and they haven't got enough legs in the team at the moment.
Shay, would it be too cruel to say that De Bruyne can't really show his best when he's surrounded by what was essentially mediocrity tonight?
Well, yes, it's probably harsh at times when you're talking about players playing the World Cup finals are mediocre, but Batshuayi got the goal tonight, took his goal really well, but apart from that, his touch, his awareness in around the box. There was a couple of times he could have laid off to De Bruyne the first time that maybe a Haaland or a Foden or a Grealish or whoever else a Man City would have done. They don't have that same, you're not in the same wavelength, and I know it's difficult because they've only been together for a week. That's another problem with the World Cup. Normally have a camp, they have friendlies, they build into it. I mean, even the manager Martinez mentioned have to use this game to get players up to fitness, which is a bit of a shambles really. They should be fit and raring to go, and as Anya rightly says, Hazard doesn't look fit, got taken off after an hour, so there's a lot more question marks over the Belgian team after tonight than before the game. Yeah,
it's a bit of an odd scenario here, really, that we're praising the team that has lost and we're picking holes in the team that has won. But Canada acquitted themselves well. But at the end of the day, Anya, if you don't take your chances and you don't score goals, you're not going to go anywhere in the competition. So do they have the wherewithal within that team on going on what we've seen tonight to get goals in this competition?
Yeah, look, I think they'll be frustrated because they did get into good opportunities at times. They just lacked that little final ball, the final finish, just that little bit of quality in that. But they have the players in the team. Like you look at David, he's playing for Lille this year. He's 9 goals, 3 assists in 15 games. He's got a good record for Canada, but just didn't happen for them tonight. You see Larin coming in. He had some great chances and they just didn't take them opportunities, and that's what the best teams do. So will they learn a lot from this? Yes, but like Shay said, that they didn't take their opportunity like maybe Saudi Arabia did and Japan did earlier today.
Yeah, I mean, we can't make a full decision on all the groups yet, Kenny, but Group F, going on the evidence of the matches we've seen now, it's probably one of the weaker groups now in this competition.
Yeah, I think Canada won't feel as if they're out of competition after this defeat tonight. Absolutely not. They've had great heart from that, obviously Croatia and Morocco to come. So, yeah, I wouldn't rule this Canadian team out. A little bit similarities in terms of Saudi Arabia I saw today. Very athletic, kind of high energy team, some talented individuals, particularly high up the pitch. Gave away a really sloppy goal, I'd have to say that. We look at that in a little bit more detail. That really hurt them. Didn't have to work too hard, Belgium, for the goal that they scored. But they're still very much in the tournament in Canada. On the whole, I was very impressed with them. Too easy to say they were unlucky. They weren't unlucky. Lack of quality in the final third, as Anya said. And when the opportunities presented themselves, didn't take it. So you suffer if you don't.
Yeah, and Croatia, who will probably have been disappointed with their start against Morocco, they'll be reviewing their position again tonight, having watched that performance from these other two sides, won't they?
Yeah, I mean, Croatia and Belgium are the standout teams in the group, aren't they? And you think, oh, they're going to play a lot better. Croatia were very disappointing earlier today. They were very, very poor. For whatever reason, I'm not sure. Again, maybe the games caught up with them, club games. And of course, Belgium, I know they've won the game, so they'll take heart from that. We talk about Courtois before the game. It's a massive moment for him. He makes the penalty save. You know, so make a big difference getting out of the group, perhaps. But the team as a whole, again, as Kenny says, they look sluggish, they look tired. I don't know, looked off the mark. They weren't clicking at all, Peter. So I don't know what's wrong and how quickly can they fix it, because the games come quick and fast, as we know in the World Cup.
Yeah, you were commenting when Trossard came on that maybe he might affect things because he has had a good season for Brighton, and he did look a little bit livelier when he came on for Belgium.
Yeah, it's very, very hard for him to get into this team. The way he's shaping up the team, he's got to knock Hazard or De Bruyne out of the team to get into one of those number 10 positions. That's not going to happen for a load of different reasons.
You think he'll stay loyal, particularly to Hazard?
Yeah, I don't think it's just footballing reason. Hazard in particular, big personality. That's a massive decision to put him on the bench. I don't think he's doing that. I think you change the system, 4-3-3. I believe you can get De Bruyne and Trossard in the number 8 positions. You can get Hazard playing left of a 3 up front. I think that's an option. That'd be a big call as well. He's been very loyal to the back 3 for a long period of time.
I can't see him changing.
But sometimes you've got to do it. You've got to be brave. It's too easy.
Yeah, but he's not brave to take Hazard out. I don't think he's going to be brave enough to change the.
Well, he can keep Hazard in and get Trossard in. That's the halfway house, isn't it? And in terms of that back 3, I don't think you're protecting Alderweireld and Vertonghen by putting them in a back 3. Sometimes for me, you play a back 4 and keep the back 4 nice and narrow on you. You actually protect your 2 centre halves who are lacking a little bit of pace, and you get that extra forward higher up the pitch. So I think that's something which you might wrestle with over the next couple of days, Martinez.
Does he have options within the squad, though? When you look at that Belgian squad, I mean, they talk about there are some young players coming through, but in defence, it doesn't appear that he has too many options.
Yeah, look, and he seems to be very loyal, like Kenny says, to his back 3, and obviously they're usually experienced, but when they're lacking pace, I think as well, it doesn't really allow your wing-backs to get us forward and doesn't free up the team, I suppose, to be in it as attacking threat as they should be, and that will probably punish them later on, I think, in the tournament as the games go on.
That's the question, but can you be too loyal as a manager? That, you know, can he be too loyal to Hazard?
Of course you can.
And the likes Tielemans in midfield, Kenny says, can't get around the pitch. The guys at the back are raging. You know, can a manager be too loyal? I mean, you look at Gareth Southgate, even in England, obviously Maguire's having a poor season, Shaw's hardly played, but still he was loyal, but they played well in the first game. So where's the balance between loyal and not loyal, do you know what I mean? But this Belgian team looked leggy tonight. And
in comparison, it's a good one with England. When England predominantly been playing with a back 3 under Southgate over the last kind of 12 to 18 months. But first game of this tournament, he's flipped to a forward. He's got the extra attacking player into the team. I think sometimes you have a picture in your head prior to the tournament how you want to play, but very suddenly things change, individuals emerge, and I think you have to recognise that and make those adjustments. I think the big managers make those big decisions, because you're right on, you're hanging yourself out. You make the decision, you change the system, suddenly if it all goes wrong, woof, it's all coming on you. But if you know it's the right thing to do, your gut feeling tells you, I've got to change this now. The big managers' shoulders are big enough to make those decisions.
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see what Roberto Martinez does for the next match, which is against Belgium on the 27th. And you're very welcome back. So Belgium have beaten Canada by a 1-0, but they can consider themselves a little bit lucky to be walking away with the 3 points this evening. Kenny, talk us through the goal and how it came about.
Yeah, I spoke about they'd be really frustrated in hindsight, particularly the central defenders. Alderweireld, we all know from some in English football how good a long-range passer that he is, and you have to just kind of respect that as a defender. And when he picks up the ball with no pressure on, that's the alarm bells are going off. Here's the 2 centre-halves, Vittorio and Miller, who I thought was outstanding. You've got to drop early. There's not enough pressure in the ball. You've got to drop and protect the space in behind. They don't. Look at the quality of the ball. Miller tries vainly to get back, but he's giving himself too much to do. I question even Borjan, the goalkeeper here. I know he's made good contact with that ball, but the best goalkeepers for me get a touch on that and put it over the bar. But the problem was the 2 centre-halves. Yeah, trying to keep that high line, that's all well and good, but recognise when there's not enough pressure on the ball, the quality of the player in possession, and drop into the space just too late in doing it, and it cost them.
Yeah, so that little defensive lapse, and also if you're not taking your opportunities up front, well, that's the price you're going to pay. They had chances in the first half, but again, a couple of decent chances in the second half for Canada.
Yeah, Peter, look, they're brilliant in the press and they executed their game plan, got into great positions. This Stefan Eustago gets the ball in and it's David and he fails to hit the target. And for me, the centre forward, he needs to get a better connection on that. Yeah. And again, this is Davies to Stefan again, and he just takes a shot and it's just deflected wide. Here's Laria at the edge of the box, eventually comes back to him, and that just lacks quality as well, and the execution when they're getting in these good positions, and they have Belgium on the back foot. And again, it's Johnston, the right back, who gets it in, and Laram just on the pitch and forces Qatar to make a save. Again, in second chance of the game, substitute, and fails to make a good connection. So you can see they're getting into good areas, getting the ball out wide. You can see what they're trying to do, getting the ball in the box, but they just couldn't make the goalkeeper work.
Yeah, the story of this match as far as Canada is concerned, Shay, is what might have been, because they had the opportunity in the first half with the penalty that was missed, and then there were a couple of incidents in the box where possibly they could have been awarded other penalties, and we're going to have a look at those now.
They were the better team first half, and that goal comes just before half time, but I think we're all in agreement that this actually is a penalty. Buchanan has a shot, and Carrasco's arms out of, you'll see the replay probably better, his arms out here, Peter, and in the common law, it's his hands in an unnatural position to get the wording right for the referees. Then it's a penalty. He makes the right decision. But now there's who's taking the penalty. Davis, we spoke about before, he's the star man, but he doesn't normally take penalties.
Yeah.
So Jonathan Davis, normally the penalty taker, he scored 2 from the last 2. So it'll be interesting to see, should he have took the penalty. This, we think, Kendo, maybe it could have been another penalty. I think the ref plays on because Courtois makes a save that maybe plays the advantage, but VAR should be involved. But this, for me, we mentioned it at half-time briefly, a bit more time to talk about it now. So if you see Hazard on the edge of the box, gets the ball, passes it back, now it's panic stations, he's not offside, the flag goes up, and that's a penalty. I think that's a penalty. He gets a bit of the ball, a slow-mo show, a bit of the ball, but then he takes the player out. And this sort of shot at the end, now you'll see the Canadian players around the referee. He's saying it's offside, so he doesn't have to look at the VAR.
Yeah.
But I would love the VAR to be like, when we can hear, in the rugby, they can hear what the officials are saying. So now the official in the VAR is saying, no, he's got the ball, you got that right, it's a free out, whatever. There's no communication. We don't know what's been said, but by looking at this picture, my understanding is he's saying it's offside, so it can't be a penalty. It's offside before. But our understanding is we think it's a penalty because, he wasn't offside. Hazard played the ball, and for me, I think VAR should get involved there.
So I think to make the opposite argument, I think VAR have looked at that. They will have seen that it's not offside. Clearly, that's easy to see, so they'll know if there's no offside. Then they'll be looking at the tackle. Clearly, they viewed the tackle and thought it's not a penalty, so they're prepared to go with the referee. But for me, technically, it's a penalty. There's a touch, Peter, but he follows through, as Shay said, and takes out the player.
Yeah.
As I understand the rules, that's a penalty. Very hard done by.
Yeah, so a bit of bad luck, but also plenty of bad finishing on Canada's part. Yeah, they certainly have hard to argue with what he said there. I mean, they're going to look forward to that Croatia game now with sort of renewed vigour, given the performance tonight against Belgium.
Yeah, look, I think it's obviously a very honest interview from John Herdman. Look, they realise that was an opportunity missed, but they do gain a lot of belief in the way they did perform. So, look, they'll take that into the next game, and I think they've nothing to lose being at this tournament, and they did show that they do belong here.
Yeah, no goals, no points the first time they were at the World Cup, 86, if my memory serves me correctly, but there's every chance they could do something here, isn't there?
Yeah, I think it was important. I think you've seen them at the end of the game in a group, and obviously he was in the middle of it, John speaking to them and how proud he was of them and how well they done. But it'll come down to what Anya mentioned about in front of the goal. They were very blunt in front of the goal. They were some great play, got in good positions, good balls into the box, but it looks like they're really lacking a killer finish, an instinctual finish to get them out of the group. They'll have to improve, obviously, in the next games in front of the goal, but apart from that, they've done really well up to that point.
Yeah, and another thing we talked about during the second half as well, Kenny, was they were very wasteful from set pieces. But some improvements, and they could get something out of the group.
Yeah, it's just think the fundamentals were good. The defensive structure, spoke about the goal, obviously nitpicked that a little bit. But Miller and Johnson, that kind of back three really impressed me. Miller was fantastic. Wing backs getting great width and penetration down the side. And yeah, just a lack of quality key moments higher up the pitch cost him. David was the big one, Jonathan David for me. Like you said, he's got real kind of pedigree. He was the one probably before the game he would have wanted. Chances fallen, so just didn't step up.
OK, well, this group is shaping up very nicely indeed. Lots of good football we expect to come from it as well. Group F, and at the moment it's Belgium who lead the way, having picked up those 3 points this evening. That's